Hello friends, today we'll discuss about uni-junction transistor, popularly known as UJT. As the name suggests, it is having only one junction, one PN junction. So as shown in this symbolic as well as in this equivalent circuit diagram, there is a lightly doped N substrate. This is a lightly doped N substrate on which a heavily doped P body is embedded at this point. This point, as shown, this dot is represented by eta point. It is having three terminals. The point at which this P is embedded is emitter, else otherwise on this negative substrate there are two terminals known as base B1 and base B2. The resistance between B2 and B1, of course, when emitter open, is known as interbase resistance, popularly known as RBB. It is interbase resistance. The value of RBB is nothing but the simple sum of resistance of base B1 with respect to eta point and resistance of base B2, of course, with respect to eta point. So RB2, RB1 are shown over here. Now, one important ratio is also discussed whenever we are going to discuss about a unijunction transistor. It is known as intrinsic standoff ratio, given by eta. It is equal to the ratio RB1 with respect to RBB. Typically the range of eta is from 0.5 to 0.8 based upon the value of resistance, because the value of interbase resistance RBB ranges from 5 kilo ohms up to maximum 8 or 10 kilo ohm. Fine. Now the equivalent circuit of this in the form of a diode as well as some electrical parameters like resistances is shown over here. When VA will be more than the value of together diode voltage plus the voltage drop across V1, only then this IE current will start to flow from emitter towards this base B1. Under this condition, the resistance or the interbase resistance drastically decreases, and this represent in this diagram as the negative resistance region. So this is a very important region where we are going to use this device to generate firing pulses for our SCR. This value is known as the peak value of voltage. It is the peak point. This value is represented as the valley point voltage, VV. The graph is between this emitter voltage with respect to this emitter current. So the negative resistance region, where we are going to use this as a solid state switch or an electronic switch, is this region. It is between VP and VV. Prior to this line, it is known as cutoff region, and after this valley point, it is in saturation region. We will try to discuss UJT as an oscillator which ultimately generate the firing pulses for our SCR. So this is the equivalent circuit of an oscillator using UJT. Remember, internal resistances are already there for this device, that is RB2 and RB1, and of course will considered when we are going to design this circuit or making calculation. Externally connected resistances are given by R1 and R2. Ultimately we can use this V0 or output voltage V0 to generate firing pulses for our SCR, to trigger our SCR. These are positive firing pulses. However, the opposite of this is along R2, where we can generate negative firing pulses also. Another crucial parameter is this charging resistance R. It is basically a variable resistor, and of course this capacitor is being used to charge and discharge, because we required very small duration firing pulses to trigger SCR, and just sufficient voltage that simply applied to the gate of SCR so that it will instantly triggered at a desired value of alpha. So various parameters related to this circuit, but prior to this, when VBB is connected to this circuit, first of all capacitor will charge through RC. So the time constant T1 is given by RC. When sufficient amount of VC is developed, or capacitor will charge with this value VC, and the when value of VC will be more than, as we have already discussed, will be more than the value of diode voltage as well as the voltage along this point, then capacitor will be discharged through R1 and ammeter current will start to flow under this condition. So this is the discharging pulse or discharging wave. Discharging will be towards a resistance R1, that is why it is considered, so tau 2 is R1C. We are not considering RB1 in this particular case because it is the negative resistance region, and under this condition the resistance is drastically decreased, or under ideal condition it becomes zero, almost zero. So that is why only R1, the effect of R1 is considered. However, the value of R1 and R2 together is very much less as compared to the interbase resistance RBB, of course when ammeter circuit or ammeter terminal is open. Now one more important thing we also remember, or we also considered while we are designing this circuit, that when ammeter circuit is open there is always a leakage current between this base B2 and B1, and under that condition, due to this leakage current, there might be some voltage developed across this R1. So you will have to remember that voltage under this condition must always be less than the gate triggering voltage, else otherwise there might be unwanted or false triggering of SCR can take place. So you should remember these particular parameters or things when you are going to design an oscillator circuit, of course based upon this UJT. The popular number which is available in the market for UJT for our laboratory purpose whenever we are going to design this circuit, because I have already designed this circuit in the laboratory and also generate such triggering pulses in the laboratory, it is 2N2646. Sometimes 2647 is also used. So this is the number you should remember, and there will be a specification sheet. Based upon this you can decide what should be the value of VBB, what should be the leakage current, what is the amount of VP, what is the amount of VV, what should be the value of R and C will take whenever we are going to design these firing pulses. So these spikes of very short interval are required to generate or to be applied to our gate circuit. So various parameter used will be, first of all, the capacitor voltage, of course charging through R, that's why it will be values. Then peak voltage, this value is also equal to VBB times 1 minus exponential minus T upon RC plus VV. If we are going to compare, simply we can find out VD is equivalent to VV. Simply we are similarly, this value is similar to this value, so we can conclude that eta is equal to 1 minus exponential minus T upon RC, and we can also conclude that VD is equal to VV. Simply in case of silicon, this voltage drop normally taken as 0.7 volt, else otherwise under ideal condition you can also take 0 volt, just for the simplicity. Now based upon this, if t is our time period, then we can find out time period in terms of frequency, which is reciprocal of frequency, is equal to RC times ln, that is natural log. You should remember whenever you are going to do calculations, the mode in your scientific calculator should be natural log ln 1 upon 1 minus eta. Typically the value of eta is either given for your device or might be from ranges from 0.5 to 0.8. Hence firing angle alpha can be find out omega t. R2 can be find out by empirical relationship, that is 10 to the power 4 divided by eta times VBB. Remember, it is an empirical relationship. Now it's crucial. So Rmax is equal to VBB minus VP upon IP. Remember, the value of peak current is very small, as shown in characteristic curve also. The value of R minimum is equal to VBB minus VV divided by IV, that is valley point current. Now another important parameter which I have discussed is the value of voltage when ammeter current is open should be critical or crucial. So the value of voltage developed across R1 in the form of our circuit parameter is given by this relationship. Clearly you can apply Ohm's law and you can find out these parameters. So this is the voltage developed across R1. So under the condition when ammeter circuit is open, it must be very much less than the gate trigger voltage. This is very important or critical thing. So you should remember this value should be less than this value, else otherwise false triggering of SCR can take place. It is only when ammeter is open. So you should remember these things. So based upon this and based upon the given parameters, we can design our firing circuit and we can use this UJT as an oscillator. So in the next class we'll try to do some numerical example based upon UJTs. Thank you so much. For now, please like and subscribe.